Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So if you have been following me for some time, or if you just clicked on my channel and you've seen the name of my channel, one thing that you know for sure about me is that I am a big book lover, and books have been a very big part of my life. In fact, books have been a bigger part of my life than a lot of people, and that says a lot about me. So the video that I'm doing today is books that have changed my life. Now, even though I have been a book lover almost all my life, and I used to see these videos where people would share books that changed their life, and I never really could relate to them, because I do believe that reading as a habit, or reading books in general, this whole thing does change your life. It changes things about you as a person. But I never could pinpoint like particular books that changed my life. And lots of people would say so about self-help books, that this particular self-help book changed their life, and that's also the purpose of them. And I have read some self-help books, but I never felt any one of them like made such a major impact on me that it changed my life. But I always wanted to see that, I just always wanted to figure out what are those books for me. So I just sat down and I decided to just make a list of all the books that I thought have had a major impact on me. So I came up with 5 books, and I'll share all those books with you today, and I'll also share why I think those books in particular changed my life. Okay, so book number 1 is this one, Selected Stories from Arabian Nights. And if you have been a very old follower, I have told about this in a couple of videos. And why this book is so special to me is because I won it in 4th standard. So when I was about 9 years old, I won it then in a slogan writing competition. And before that, I wasn't much of an avid reader. I liked books, but I was not like, I don't remember being obsessed with them. So I won this book and I started reading it, and the stories in them were so magical. For the kid within me, they are, even now they are just brilliant stories, and I was so mesmerized by the whole world they transported me into. And that was, I think, the first moment that I realized the magic of words and the power of words to create this whole new universe for you. And I think that was not, I couldn't pinpoint it at that time, and I'm just giving words to that feeling now, but that feeling was always there, and that impact of this book was always there. So this changed my life, because I think I am the book lover that I am today because of this book, because it introduced me to the world of stories. And yeah, that's why it is very special to me. Book number 2 is Spicy Bites of Biryani by Ashwina Garg, and in all honesty, I do not remember the plot of this story. So why this changed my life is because I was in 8th standard when I ordered this book from Flipkart, and it was like the first novel that I ever held in my hands. Before that, I always used to read those, fairy tales and Arabian Nights and those sorts of books. And this was the first novel that I got. And I don't remember the story really, but I remember being very happy after reading it. I loved the whole experience of reading a novel, of reading this, I think it's young adult story, and I just absolutely fell in love with this concept of novels, and I just wanted to never stop purchasing novels, and I literally haven't stopped purchasing. So I think in a way I kind of owe this whole book collection to this one book, because it felt just so nice, and it made me want to read more and more novels. So my introduction to novels is this book, and that's why I think it changed my life. On number 3, obviously I just could not skip these books, and that is the Harry Potter series. Yes, it just absolutely changed the things for me. Like most people, I did not read it in like my childhood. I read it when I had already, I think, started this channel and everything. I had seen 1 or 2 of the movies. I was familiar with who Harry Potter is and Ron and Hermione, but that was it. And I just, always heard that the series is so amazing. And one fun fact, I always thought J.K. Rowling is a man. For some reason, that's what I thought until I finally read the books for myself and then searched about them and all. But anyways, keeping that aside, why I love these books so much and why I think that they changed my life is because after reading them, first of all, it's a 7 to 8 book series, and I finished it in less than a month. I don't think I have finished any series so quickly. That is how interesting it was to me, and I was in complete awe of the author, and I just kept on wondering how could someone create such a vivid universe with all minor details and everything, because whenever I sit down to write a story, I just know how hard it is to complete even a short story from beginning to an ending, and to create this whole universe with minute details. It was just so magical to me. It was the first time that I ever had a favorite author. She was my favorite author for the longest time. She still is, but like I love Ruskin Bond a little bit more. But anyways, yeah. So like in the previous books, I told you I fell in love with the concept of reading. I realized the magic of reading stories. I realized the magic of words that other people wrote that could transport me. But with Harry Potter, after reading them, I just knew that I want to create that magic too. I knew it. I wanted to write. And you know, one another fun fact is that after reading Harry Potter, I wrote a lot of magical stuff. So yeah, that's the kind of impact it had on me, and that was the first time I was like pretty sure that's what I want to do. Even I want to string words together to have this major of an impact, and that is why I think Harry Potter changed my life. Next up is any and every book that I have read by Ruskin Bond. For the sake of the video, I'm just picking this one, which is his autobiography, Lone Fox Dancing. But literally, any book that I've read by Ruskin Bond has changed my life. And the reason, there are two reasons. First of all, they made me a big nature lover. Like, I was always appreciative of nature. Like, if you'll see a flower, most people would be happy and they'll be like, oh, nature is so pretty and all of that. Yes. But it just completely changed me. It changed the way I look at my natural surroundings. I observe them with so much more detail, and I can see more beauty in them. That, like, really, it sounds like a cliche, but that's true. After reading Ruskin Bond, I realized that there are a lot of beautiful natural things around us that we just take for granted, and that's one new perspective that his writings added to my life. And number two is that I realized the power of simplicity, especially when it comes to writing. Also his personal life, but let's keep that aside for a moment. Before I read his books, there was kind of this thing in my mind that to be a good writer, I have to write about complex and deep things, about things that people have not really written about. I have to know these, complex, difficult, or all these terms, and I need a good vocabulary. And I'm not undermining the importance of all this, not at all. But reading Ruskin Bond's books was a realization for me that you do not need all this to be a good writer. You can write about simple things in a simple language, presented in a very simple way, and still create an amazing work of writing. All his books, his memoirs, his non-fictions, his fictions, they're all very simply written, but they're all so beautiful that you can't stop reading them. And that is why I think Ruskin Bond books have completely changed my life, because obviously they turned me into a nature lover, and they changed the way the writer within me thought. Now, last but definitely not the least is a very, very famous classic, which is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. And it's not been very long since I read this book. I'd heard about it a lot. about Mr. Darcy and Lizzie and all that. Why this changed my life is because it changed my whole perspective about classics. So my introduction into reading classics was through The Call of the Wild and Great Expectations. The Call of the Wild, I don't even remember. I've lost count how many times I tried reading that book, but and it's such a short book. It's not even a novel, it's a novella, but I could never complete it. So I was like, I knew that's a classic, and yeah, I was just intimidated by it. And then another classic that I picked up was Great Expectations, and I could not. I also picked that up about 3 or 4 times. I could never go past, like, I don't know, 5 pages was the max I read. It's written in a very difficult language, and yeah, I just couldn't get the grip of the plot. So my introduction to classics was not very pleasant, and that's why I just started avoiding classics, and I made a notion in my head that I'm not made for classics. I can't read them. That they are too out of my abilities. They're not meant for me. But then I read Pride and Prejudice, and why I dared to pick this up, because I had to. I had no choice, and it was a part of my university syllabus, so I had to pick it up. And oh my god, I absolutely enjoyed reading Pride and Prejudice, and I realized that classics don't always have to be bad. And it changed my whole as I said, perspective about classics, and it made me fall in love with classics so much that now I can't seem to stop reading them. All the time I'm wanting to pick up a classic. That's how much it has changed. So it has definitely changed my life, because it gave me access to this whole genre, this big genre which is very important in English literature. It made me comfortable with it. Being a literature student, I just cannot avoid classics, and it would have become very difficult to me to move on with my studies, or even in the field of writing. It would have become very difficult for me if I was always so intimidated by classics, and thank God for Pride and Prejudice that it eased me into the genre, and now I appreciate them so much. So yeah, those were all the books that I could pinpoint that had a major impacts on my life, and so much so that I can say that they changed my life in some way or the other. And that is not to say that all the other books that I read have no impact on me. They definitely do in some or the other way, but that's so subtle that just happens without me actually like realizing. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. This was not just like reviews, it was also a little bit personal. I really hope you liked it. If there's a book that you think have changed your life, I would love to hear about it. Please let me know in the comments section below. And if you enjoyed this video, please do not forget to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel. And very importantly, hit the bell icon, so whenever I'll post a video, you will be notified. If you like, you can also follow me on my Instagram. My Instagram handle will be here on the screen, and the link to reach my Instagram profile will be in the description box. So you click that, reach my profile, and follow me over there. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.